there, Frank here for premium members for the trading day of February the 5th, 2026, a Thursday. So, after some traveling here, I'm back at my desk in Toronto. Very snowy, but not bad. Usual cold weather here, and I hope everybody's doing fine. We're going to ease into the trading year of 2026 and continue our journey here on the markets. Gold, silver, and the rest of them provided the bulk of the opportunities last year, and we'll see what this year can bring to our desk here. Okay, so just a few initial thoughts here. I'm not going to go and be too long today. We're going to ease into our work here. But I found that if I produce these videos for you guys, it actually helps me as well because it helps me organize my thoughts. And today's video admittedly comes to you at, or is being recorded at 10 a.m. I usually try to produce these videos the night before so everybody has a few hours at least to consider the battle plan for the given situation. So let's start by looking at the indexes first. And the first thing that you notice is that this trend has leveled out, and now we are dealing with a sideways market. We usually, at least me personally, I'm not keen on participating in sideways markets, but please note that strong trends are quite possible in the range, within the range from one edge to the other. Also, just note that we have at least made 2 attempts to break out of this range, or what became a range, since first to the downside here back in December, and then twice to the upside. Both have failed so far, and right now we are actually more bearish than bullish looking at the intraday candles here. So a visit to the lower edge of the range, 6,600 or so, is quite possible. Again, I'm not participating, I'm just watching the events. Okay, and let's continue with the currencies. And first thing you notice is that we have hot zones, bullish hot zones on each of them except for the 6A. Each of these are giving us bullish hot zones. These are usually areas where if we get long signals in these areas, they're usually worth considering. Now, on the 6E, I'd like to note that we had an exhaustion on the 4-hour chart and also on the weekly time frame. So while we are probably building a bull flag here on the daily time frame, this may not be one that I'll be too keen to participate in once it gets built, because I don't like taking signals after exhaustions, you see. Okay, let's move on to commodities. Let's start with CL today, on which, generally speaking, we have a bullish setup. Again, the markets are too random to my taste and too unpredictable at this moment on several asset classes. So I'm not really eager to take this signal if it comes, if and when it comes. But please know that this is one of the better ones that we have now, and we don't have too many good ones. Perhaps this is the only one actually that I can show you today. If this gets triggered, we have an obvious target around 68. Good for a little trade here, and perhaps a bit more to 72. That's the CL. As we ease into these videos this year again, I'm going to repeat some of the old rules, and it's just impossible to tell you everything in one video, but if you keep watching these videos, then you'll learn everything that I ever wanted to tell you about this job actually. And if you also re-watch the old videos, there are many important details there as well. So we discuss things when they occur at the market. I think that's one of the better ways to learn. So if and when something happens on the charts, that gives us a good opportunity to discuss that particular topic. Notice the volatility compression here on the 4-hour chart. We expect this to break to the upside in this case, although surprises as always are possible. Why am I saying that I expect this to break to the upside? Because of the momentum, you see. Relatively speaking, strong bullish momentum indicated by the bluish linear regression calculation also on the daily chart. So strong momentum to the upside. Okay. Oh, I wanted to say one more thing as a general rule. Just because we look at the futures markets and we get trade ideas from the futures market doesn't mean that you have to put on the contract, the actual trade on the CL futures contract. USO is a viable ETF alternative for smaller accounts and for more conservative risk management techniques. Okay, so always consider the relevant ETFs. In this case, USO is the ticker. Okay, and a few words about metals, GC and SI. Every parabolic move ends in a crash, no exception, or at least not that I have seen. This is very similar to what happened in 2011. If you were here like I was, then this is nothing new to you. This is an ante on gold, and where it goes, we'll see. Usually ends with or often enough in a measured move, but we have an obvious support area around 4,400, which is an area that might get actually likely to get tested also or retested. Also, the exhaustion on the weekly at 5,400 is impossible not to notice, and a major event, remember that. So the right position on gold right now, if you're a bull, is to stand by. And the same goes for silver as well. The sell-off, the collapse is even more dramatic. Notice that this beautiful geometric structure here, the 55-ish area, roughly the 50, which was the high of 2011, remember, will probably get retested here by this measured move, which would actually be a healthy event because after that, at least we have something we can work with. Right now, I'm not too keen on shorting silver. I don't see myself as an expert in trading antes anyway, but this is what I see on the chart. We made enough last year to be able to stand by a little bit and just watch, sit back and watch whatever silver is doing. Okay, and remember ante, just one word about the ante is described in detail in probably what is the best book on trading, AHG's, Adam Grimes' book. Check it out, pick it up, the big black book. He talks about the ante in detail. Originally, the ante, I think, came from Linda Raschke, a famous trader in the 90s, so it goes back a while. But there's a psychological process here, which includes also panicked bulls and cornered bulls as they are forced to sell their positions. Okay, we'll get to all these things later as we continue our journey this year. I just want to show you one more thing. ZB treasuries, US treasuries in general, especially on the weekly, are giving us a beautiful looking long signal or long structure, bullish structure, and the 4-hour chart is moving already. Just please note that this treasury market may not be the same that we had 5, 10, 15 years ago for reasons well known to everybody if you are informed. So just practice caution when you trade these structures here. Okay, and one more, ZL, which is a trade that I'm not in, but I wanted to show you because this train has left the station by the time I looked at it, and I don't trade ZL too often anyway, so that's the reason. But it's a picture-perfect trade generated by our methodology. So you should take a picture and frame this and put it on your wall because this is what our job is in one picture on the daily. Look at this, the bull flag, bottom tail, trigger. Here's the trigger algorithmically. You go long, entry, 1-hour trade, stop, and target with dollar values, you see. And also, in this case, the target area nicely coincides with a previous pivot, which just further adds to probably the magnetic pull psychologically to retest this area around 58. So if you want Maybe you can look at some smaller charts and re-enter somewhere along the journey. You see, so this train is already in movement, but perhaps there will be an opportunity to hop on this train. Otherwise, I'm just going to watch this for now. All right, so I hope everybody's starting the year on the right foot, on the correct foot, trading-wise, and hopefully you can join me as we continue to manage positions and identify opportunities generated by our method. As to the execution, as always, just one word, the best way to execute these trades. These videos are mostly about identifying opportunities. As you know, the second stage is structuring the trade, how and actually and what you're going to buy or sell. Now, if you're doing it on NinjaTrader, whether micros or full contracts, the best way to do these trades is with our software, the Momentum Strategies, and the whole suite is available in our shop. So more all about that later as we ease into the year, and we'll be back soon. And until then, mindful trading. Also, if you have any questions or something's not clear or you just want to discuss something, feel free to write to me. I want everybody to succeed here. And no guarantee 26 will be as easy as 25 was. That's not something we can predict. But one thing we know is that we're going to continue what we've been doing for 10, 15 years because it brings the results. And that's how this whole thing works. So back soon. And until then, mindful trading.